Hello, thanks for joining me for today's Lunch and Learn. I'm Keith Armour, the Education and Homework Support Manager down here at the main library. Today is all about travel. It's the summertime. It's time that we hit the road. Well, the library has so many great resources for you, from guidebooks to downloadable things that can entertain you as you travel. Let's go ahead and take a look in today's Lunch and Learn. Well, all right, we've arrived at our website, cincinnatilibrary.org. We're going to come right up here in the search area and type in travel. Now, when we get our results back, it is going to show us almost 35,000 results. Remember, our collection is huge. So what you want to do is come over here. You can, of course, separate it out by books and different formats here, music, magazines. But I'm going to scroll all the way down here, and I want to click on form and genre. Now, what I'm really looking for is guidebooks. So I'm going to click here. And I have a few guidebooks here, about 1,500. Travel, Where to Go. This was written in 2007. And you're like, okay, Texas, Land of Contrast, 1970. Oh, here's 2021. Ultimate United States Travel List. Looks good. I'm going to click on that. And I can look that there's 10 copies. There's 2 available. And I'm going to place a hold. Okay. Now, I want to point out there's not a lot on here when it comes to travel because travel books are updated every year. So we have at the library decided to make sure that we have the up-to-date information by going to our website and then coming to stream and download. Now, if you're going to look for something local, like going to Columbus or going to Cleveland or Chicago, obviously type that in and you'll find some good resources for that. But I do want to point out Libby and Overdrive are the same company, but I particularly like to look at both of them through the Overdrive browser. Now, I'm going to, of course, point out that there's all sorts of great books that you can download and have for your trip, or if you're planning a trip. We are talking about that now. We're going to go to subjects, and we notice that our collection has over, well, almost a quarter, well, over a quarter million titles. So we have a lot. So we're going to come over here to nonfiction, go all the way down here to travel, 4005. And you'll notice you've got Walt Disney World, The Last Resort, Michigan. We can go travel up to Michigan, Italy, one of the places I'd really like to go. So if I wanted to click here on Italy, I could find out, I could read a little sample of the book and take a look. Getting around the ebook tells me about how the ebook is laid out, shows me the symbols that they're going to use in the guidebook, and then some of the table of contents is on here as well. And then they're going to show me the top 10 attractions that I would want to go and see. Oh, yes, I would definitely like to see the Colosseum. All right. Oh, I'm doing a biking trip later on, but I haven't thought about biking in Italy before. So, of course, I could download that. Now, I could place a hold because it's going to take about 2 weeks for it to get there. Usually these times are a little bit longer than they actually are. So don't let that deter you. Now, if I wanted to go to Insight, some more Insight guides, I just click here. And I can see that they have 2 other guides, one on Turkey and one on U.S. national parks in the west part of our country. Now I'm going to click back, and I'm going to go to another travel guide. Let's say we're going to go to Washington, D.C. Same thing. This one's available. I could borrow it right now and I could have it for 21 days. I'm going to go to DK Eyewitness Travel Guide, click here, and you'll notice that there are 28 of these. And so I could take a look at them. And oop, there's Rome. And it does say the date. So 2018. I don't know if that would probably give me a good idea of how they do their books. But I'm going to go back one more and go right down here to, ooh, here's Chicago. Let's click on Chicago. And once again, I could find out more information about Chicago. I could read the sample, but let's go to full color travel guide and look at all of theirs. And there's actually 219 here. Oh, there's the best of Italy. If I clicked on this one, then I could look at the sample of their travel guide, and they're going to lay out the icons that I'm going to see. They're going to tell me about hotels and credit cards and welcoming me, and these are the top reasons to go: the food, the history, the shopping. I don't care about the shopping, but definitely the food and definitely the art and the history. And then they're going to show me a table of contents as well. Travel books, to look at them this way is so much easier, because when you're looking at them, then you're like, oh, okay, do I want to buy this travel book, or do I want to just write down as much information from it as well? Now, Rick Steves actually came to the library several years ago and gave a great, it was one of the biggest events that the library's ever had. He's great. You can also see some Rick Steves snapshots here, and there's 53 snapshots of his travel books as well. So definitely check that out. I like how you just click on that other the little title and all the blue words here, and you can see all of Rick Steves' books, not just the snapshots, but all the other ones that are available too. And it's just a great way. Travel books are updated every year, so that's a really hard thing to buy the physical copy. So buying the electronic copy is much more cost. Who really wants to look at a travel book that's 10 years old? You really want to look at one that's a couple of years old. And that's the reason why you'll find most of our travel books in the electronic version. Now, while I'm here, I do want to point out one thing. The magazines are right here. There's nothing better to read a whole bunch of magazines, especially when you're on vacation, and you might be tempted when you're waiting at the airport to go to the newsstand and buy a couple of magazines. Well, here you can go ahead and do your guilty pleasure of celebrity and gossip if you like, health and fitness. There is over 300 different titles here. Check them out, download them onto your device, and save some money for something else instead of getting your magazines. This is just a great way to go about saving some money and also having some ways to pass the time while you're waiting to get on that plane, or you're driving. Well, you're not driving and reading the magazine, but your partners are driving and you're on the passenger side and you're reading some magazines. So check that out. I'm going to go back to stream and download and go to Hoopla. And Hoopla is a little different because some of those books that were in Libby and Overdrive, you had to wait. I'm going to put in travel and Hoopla up here. And then, of course, it comes back with a huge number. But what I really want to do is I want to click on format, and I just want to look at the ebooks. And here we have all of these travel books right here. Now, what's great about Hoopla is that you can always check them out, and they're always available. So if I was going to look at, let's say I wanted to, oh, there's that Chicago book, but I'm going to turn the page and I'm going to look at Costa Rica. I could borrow this and I could have it for 21 days, and then when I'm done with it, it's gonna it's gonna disappear off to my device, and then I could go ahead and download it again. And once again, look at the blue words up here. I'm going to click on travel guides, and we see all of their travel guides, and here it is, 2022 for Italy. I click here and I could read all about that to really plan a trip or have my trip this year. Great resource, and that's the reason why we really have the electronic versions, because we really want to be cost efficient. Now, the other thing I want to point out, and you're going to bear with me for this one, but we're going to go to research databases, and we're going to go to homework help. Now, I'm not giving you a homework assignment for travel. What I'm showing you is a really interesting thing right here under homework help. It's called Culturegrams. Now, Culturegrams is really built for kids, elementary kids, middle school kids, and even seniors, but it's also built for everyone. Now, I'm going to go to the States edition here. Now, let's say that you are traveling from Ohio and going all the way through all of these states to end up in the Grand Canyon, well, not in the Grand Canyon, but to see the Grand Canyon in Arizona. This is one of my favorite trips as a child. We traveled all the way across, and what a great way to learn about each one of the states. I'm just going to click right here to Arizona, and it will tell you about the climate, the geography. If I click right here, I can find out about what Arizona grows. I can go back to the main page of Arizona. I can look at some general facts. I mean, did you know they achieved statehood on Valentine's Day in 1912? You can look at their motto. You can look at detailed map. You could have an outline map. You can even print the flag, so your kids could color the flags as they go through and learn some information. You can learn about their major sports teams. And the Diamondbacks, that's a very interesting stadium, because you've got it. It's all inside. There's very few times they open that dome. Then you even have recipes that go along with that particular state. So a great way to learn about different states as you're traveling them with, especially if you're traveling with kids. And I like the World Edition here. Several years ago, I went on a big trip to Amsterdam. And of course, Amsterdam is in the Netherlands. So I'm going to click on the Netherlands. Now, here I can learn about that. It's home to almost 700 museums, and I went to about 5 of them. So I have a whole bunch more to go to. I can look at the average person, and this is the infographic that comes up. And I can learn that 92% of them are city dwellers. Their language is Dutch. I could look at their official name and how they got it, and then I could even listen to their anthem, and of course I could print out a flag. Now, the thing I think is cool is learning about their climate, especially if you're traveling at a certain time of the year. This is a great way to look at that. And you can look at their history, their population, their language. One of the reasons why I really loved going to Amsterdam and the Netherlands was the fact that really they do speak Dutch. However, English is very well received there, and you can really, they can understand you and you can understand them as well. I do like the general attitudes part. Kind of gives you an idea of the attitudes that the Dutch would have, and then the personal appearance. And then one of my favorites, these two favorites are the greetings. A warm and hearty handshake is appropriate greeting. There's gestures, eye contact, and facial expressions are important, but wagging the index finger emphasizes a point. Pointing the index finger to the forehead implies that someone is crazy and is an insult. So you might want to make sure that you do that, and also that you don't do that. And then right here, it's impolite to pass between conversing with individuals or to chew gum while speaking. And sometimes you want to not do that. So it gives you information on visiting and all sorts of things, and even recipes down here as well. Now, if I go back to the main page, I can do all of these other things. Plus, they have a currency converter. And of course, they're on the euro. But then I can look at other information here and even recipes that go along with the Netherlands. I just think it's a really great way to kind of get a feel for the country. The other thing I want to point out to you, and I'm going to go back to the main page and go to research databases, language learning. Click on language learning, and if you want to do transparent language online, that is a great way to learn over 100 different languages. Just knowing some key phrases is really important if you're going to go to a country that speaks differently. Now, back at home, we're going to come over to services, and we're going to go right down to Discovery Pass. I talked about this at last Lunch and Learn, but I want to talk about it one more time. If you're staying at home, staycations are one of my favorite things to do. Don't forget about the Discovery Pass. It can let you into the American Sign Museum, the Cincinnati Art Museum, the Museum Center, great parks of Hamilton County, the Harriet Beecher Stowe House, Pyramid Hill and Sculpture Park and Museum over in Hamilton, Ohio, and of course the Taft Museum of Art. There's a way to go about it. There's this handy dandy chart here to tell you that you can print a lot of them from home. And two of them, the Museum Center and the Great Parks, where is it? Right here. You do need to pick up a pass at a particular branch and then of course return it to the branch as well. So many different ways to travel. Of course, don't forget we have 41 locations. So if you want to just make a staycation of traveling to all of our branches, that would be great, and take some pictures and let us know. All right, I hope that you have a safe travel season, and don't forget all of these materials are always available throughout the year. So if you are traveling at another time of the year, you can come right back and find these same materials here and new updated materials on a regular basis. Now remember, those were all the resources that are just a click away for you when you are ready to get on the road for some traveling. I'll see you next time for another Lunch and Learn.